Welcome to the Logistics Point interviews. We are joined by David DeJean, who is the Vice President of Global Strategic Accounts at Systech, and we're going to talk about tracking medical devices. And David, first of all, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Nick.
So what are the things that make it difficult?
Medical devices has some standards, but they're generally around lot-based tracking, not individual product tracking. Certain classes do require individual serial numbers, but they're usually not the high-moving product. Those are a lot of the times the things that are actually the most counterfeited and the most diverted.
What measures and steps should be taken?
I think the manufacturer has to employ some levels of technology that can authenticate their products. So are the products that are actually moving through the supply chain legitimately their product? If we can standardize that technology, that's great, like what the DSCSE has done. So every pharmaceutical manufacturer has to implement it the same way. Every wholesaler has to distribute it the same way. You know, those things, like I said, that's the holy grail, but it takes a very long time to get there. In the interim, have safety features on the products that allow you to identify counterfeit products or identify diverted products. If it's an unauthorized distributor or a secondary distributor or only an online distributor, there's higher risks in those situations where, you could then be buying things that are not legitimately that company.
How easy is it for them to claim the costs back and take some actions against whoever sold that?
In one situation, there was an online retailer who was falsifying that they were an authorized distributor of these products, and they weren't, and they were distributing counterfeit products. They were found, and so they actually did an investigation from that online distributor, found out who they were buying them from, took them to civil court as well, and then they tracked the products all the way back to India, where they were being the cartons were being counterfeit. The product that was inside was actually a real product of another company, but it was expired and it wasn't usable. Once they reported that they had a problem, it was on the manufacturer to kind of take action against the bad actors that got that falsified product into the market.
How can companies and procurement departments find information which they can trust and they know that they get the correct thing?
And it's a difficult situation because those purchasers at the end of the day are trying to make sure that they have product on the shelves. They're looking for the best price because margins are tight. The further you go down the supply chain, the smaller the margins are. Spending time there, making sure they're trusted is the most important thing. The risk, of not doing that is that you maybe be getting better prices on products from somebody that's a little shady, but you're also putting your patients at risk. There could be legal liabilities on the hospitals if they're buying from, non-distribution partners. It's definitely harder because it is a highly segmented industry. I think it's the manufacturers that need to implement some level of security on their products so that they can identify their products and they can provide technology capabilities in the supply chain for trading partners and for consumers, whoever those end consumers are, can basically authenticate products.
How likely is it to see a kind of a government regulation in this area?
What needs to happen is like what happened in the pharmaceutical industry, is where Congress takes up an action and a bill and passes that bill that says we want to protect our pharmaceutical supply chain or our medical device supply chain better than we do today. Authorized trading partners is a big piece of that. Serializing products so that it can actually move through the supply chain and be actively tracked is very important. Data sharing between trading partners is very important. But those things exist in the pharmaceutical industry. So there's vendors out there in the industry that know how to do this and do this very well because we've had to implement it, thousands of times now for, every manufacturer in the pharmaceutical industry.
Thank you very much for your time. And for everyone watching and listening, you can learn a bit more in the description and also more of similar topics if you subscribe. Thank you very much.